first of Mayor Schember's weekly news conferences. Just a scheduling note for next Thursday, January 18th, the news conference will be held at 9:30 a.m. and then it will resume at the normal 10 a.m. slot the following week and in the future. I'm Aaron Lonke, Media and Events Coordinator for the Office of the Mayor. Today, the news conference will cover a few topics, including the Mayor's position on the McBride Viaduct, a new position appointed in the Office of the Mayor, and an update on the city's efforts to clear the streets from our historic snowfall. The Mayor will speak about each topic and take questions at the end. Mayor?
Thank you, Aaron. So first, the three topics, I'll address them in the order that Aaron presented them, and the first is the McBride Viaduct. And I studied the McBride Viaduct situation in great detail, really starting back when I was on City Council. When I was on City Council, it was originally when it was closed, and there was a lot of controversy and a lot of discussion about it then, and I participated in and listened to all sides, as I always do. Over the last several months, I've studied it again in more detail and had a lot of very intense meetings with all parties and all sides involved. Based on this research, I believe there's no need for any additional public discussion on the McBride Viaduct. We've discussed this already extensively as a community with many public meetings, especially over the last 5+ years here. I accept the results of the extensive study that's been done that found that the viaduct is no longer needed and support the decision to remove it. My administration believes that there is a significant infrastructure needs throughout the city, including on the east side. My primary concern, though, is with pedestrian safety. We are committed to working with PennDOT and to improve and enhance pedestrian safety, especially on the east side, but really throughout the entire city. And the problems with pedestrian safety in the area of the McBride Viaduct and the Bayfront Connector are not north-south, they're more east-west, with people on foot, with carriage. I've seen people with baby carriages, people with bicycles crossing the median trying to get across the Bayfront Connector. So the priority, I think, needs to be, we need a safe way to get across the Bayfront south of 12th Street. That's the major issue over there, as far as I'm concerned, for right now. And Aaron was very humble in not saying that he was the new appointment I was going to announce today, but Aaron is our new Media and Events Coordinator. He started with us on Monday. His focus will be on media relations, coordinating events like Celebrate Erie, and working with our team to reach out and facilitate our community outreach. So for those of you in the media, Aaron will be a main contact with you and for you in terms of if you want to meet with me about something. And I plan to continue to be open and accessible as well, but Aaron will kind of be coordinating things for me. Aaron is 26, and he will add to our already diverse team, which in the mayor's office, which includes women, minorities, an immigrant, and now a millennial. He previously served as a media manager in terms of his background for Acoustic Sheep, and he is a graduate of Mercyhurst University. He also worked in marketing management for the Philmont Scott Ranch in New Mexico, and as a marketing specialist and media director in Erie and in Illinois. For the past 7 years, he's been directly involved in event operations for Celebrate Erie. This position will help me communicate with the media and facilitate ways to reach out and involve our community. I'm really excited to have Aaron on my team and look forward to his youthful, creative input as we move to transform Erie. I wanted to create a staff, just to talk a minute about my entire mayoral staff, a staff that represents our community and the people here. I want to have at least one person in my administration that every resident of Erie feels they can reach out to and talk with. My staff, as you know, includes women, minorities, an immigrant from Indonesia, now a millennial. So that means that I'm really the only white guy in the mayor's office, old white guy, I should say, in the mayor's office. So, our third announcement today has to do with just to talk a little bit about the Public Works Department, the great job they've been doing with our historic snowfall on this winter, really severe winter event we've been dealing with since Christmas Eve. The Bureau of Streets is coordinating with the Bureau of Sewers, what has been over the last couple days, to remove ice from the roads, as well as to clear storm drains so that the water, all the water that's melting now, can adequately drain. I want to thank all of our residents for their patience and feedback these last few weeks. Crews have been working around the clock, literally, to clear roads from our record snowfall, which is already more than last winter's total snowfall. The Public Works Department pulled every available employee with a commercial driver's license to plow during the snow emergency. I want to thank all of our drivers and the rest of the Public Works team for their dedicated and professional work, which has been going on now since Christmas Eve. We are also prepared for the next winter weather alert. We're preparing right now. That's going to begin Friday around noon. I just tell our residents and people in the area, exercise caution, especially driving home from work on Friday. If this weather event happens, it could be very icy with all the melting and the wet snow that's going to be refreezing. So it's just slow down a little bit. And a few of us were talking earlier yesterday, even driving into work. It was in the 40s, but the roads were still very slippery. You had to just go a little slower. I'm really proud of the fact that Erie is a resilient people that live here. Our community response to this historic weather event has been tremendous. I urge all residents to keep an eye out for each other and help your neighbor. We are stronger together. One other thing I wanted to mention is that if we do get a significant snow event starting Friday afternoon sometime, it's very possible that the Public Works Department may extend the odd-even parking in the inner city through the weekend. This is a long weekend coming up, so if we get a significant snowfall starting Friday, they wouldn't be able to get into the inner city streets Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, because Monday's also a holiday. So stay alert. We'll let the media know immediately, but we may have to extend into the weekend the odd-even parking in the inner city. So that's an example of how our weekly news conference will go. My goal continues to be open and transparent in terms of what we're doing, what we're thinking, and where we are with things. Each week we plan to have like the 3 hot topics or the 3 primary topics. We're certainly open to questions on other things as well when we open it to questions. I'm going to open it for questions now, for any questions anyone would have. If there's like a detailed question, that's why I have a lot of my staff up here. A more detailed question I may defer to a staff member to answer. We'll all also be available for any one-on-one interviews any of the media wants to do after the press conference ends. So questions?
Mayor, on the McBride Viaduct, you indicated you had spoken with the opponents of your position. Yeah. Have you done that recently, and do you have any sense that they've come around to seeing your point of view on this?
Yeah, I've had, within the last month, hour-and-a-half long meetings separately with both Adam Trott and Lisa Austin. And that's not the first time I've talked to them either, but they both asked for another meeting, and so we had the conversations. That's since the election in November. And I mainly listened to their presentation and what their reasoning, and thought about it closely, obviously, and have really come to the conclusion that, having again studied the whole situation, that the best thing for the city is to move forward. It would cost the city about $250 per household. We'd have to increase taxes in order to renovate the McBride Viaduct. A $100,000 house would have to pay about $250 extra in property tax if we were going to try to finance that. I just don't think that I think the property owners in the area are already overtaxed, and I don't want to place another burden on them. Plus, I've actually run and walked on the Bayfront Highway, the sidewalk next to that. I felt perfectly safe there doing that, and that is actually probably going to be even improved further with the barrier being extended to make that even safer and keep the snow from the highway off that as well. So again, my concern in that area is east-west safety of pedestrians, not north-south access.
Mayor, in terms of the snow removal, have you completed the specialized programs where you've been going into the side streets, pulling cars, et cetera? Is that all done at this point? Or?
Let me ask Chuck or Dave to answer that.
Today's the last day we're working together with the police to do clearing operations, and they'll end today. Hopefully that'll be it for the year.
That'd be nice. We would take that for sure.
Mayor, with the amount of snow removal and all the overtime, have you guys tallied a cost at all yet for maybe this whole storm as a whole?
I'm not aware of a cost. I have not asked for that. I have not seen it yet. But soon we probably will look at that. And,
oh yeah, definitely. It's a lot.
I saw, was it Mill Creek, I think, published some numbers which were pretty high. And I'm sure ours will be similar to that.
guess a lot of the ice has been bringing down gutters over the past 24 hours, and there's going to be some large debris. You guys have a plan for removal of that? Can they put that on the curb, those things like that? How, sort of plan for removing any of that debris?
I can tell you that the city's like immediately responsive, and I believe it's the fire department. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I listen to the scanners when I'm driving around in my car for the police and the fire. And what I've been hearing a lot in the last couple of days is the fire department with messages like, the gutter just took down an electrical service to a house, and then somebody goes out and checks that out and sees what needs to be done. So I know we're immediately responsive. I don't know if any of you guys would have anything additional to add on that question.
No, we haven't really examined it, and it's more, some of those, hopefully they can be replaced, put back up rather than.
I think we haven't had the emergency that could have happened. I know on my house there's a lot of, I mean, it's like there's a faucet on top of my house and the water is just running down constantly through the whole night. Every time I look out, I see this. It happens to be right outside our front door at home. And I know a lot of gutters have come down. And to tell you the truth, one of the things I was thinking is it might be cheaper, just take the chance your gutter's going to come down, because the prices I've heard for clearing the snow and clearing the ice are like $500 to $1,000. And it's probably less than that to replace a gutter if a gutter comes down. But I'm not saying that's necessarily the best thing to do. You don't want your house damaged, but either way, you're paying a lot of money. And I guess my approach is, we'll see if one falls down, and then I'll get it fixed if it does. Hope it doesn't. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. Our first press conference. We'll get better at it, I'm sure. But again, if you want to interview any of us up here, you're welcome to do that before we leave.